2050, a long green period for sustainable thinking and actions. Mega metropolises are centers of progress and pillars of global cooperation. But global urbanization has its downsides. Rural areas are left behind. Thanks to innovative and more efficient technologies, transport is more sustainable and much faster, for humans and for goods. The world has reinvented itself. We enjoy unlimited interaction and global cooperation. But could things turn out differently?
Today is November 9, 2014, and what you just saw is the Central Planner's vision for the future of America. And they wrap it up in that nice little package so there is no dissent, so that nobody protests it. But the reality is it is a very dark future where we are stacked one on top of another in coffin-sized apartments by the millions, where the army patrols the streets, where you are tracked everywhere you go, and there is absolutely no freedom, and you are never allowed to leave the city. This is a continuation of 2 other videos I have made, so this is part 3 in the Megacities series. I will link the other 2 videos in the description. I have a newspaper article from the LA Times, and before I get to that, I'm going to show some other things first. So this is the America 2050 website where they talk about all of this. And these are the mega regions that they plan to have for us, as you can see here on this map. And these are the regions themselves. There are 11 of them. The Arizona Sun Corridor, Cascadia, which is right here in the northwest, Florida, Front Range, which is Colorado, Great Lakes, Gulf Coast, the Northeast, Northern California, Piedmont Atlantic, Southern California, and the Texas Triangle. So this is where they plan for us to be in America. All of this will be empty. You will not be allowed to live in any of these areas, and that's why there is so much federalized land now, and you are not allowed to live on federalized land, as that is the plan for the future. So moving on, I want to show you something real quick from thecommonsenseshow.com with Dave Hodges. He documents Megacities very well on his website, and he says, previously on August 27, 2014, I reported on the rapid progress of the Megacities concept. It is a United Nations created Agenda 21 plan initiated by the global elite to establish 11 megacity regions, each containing approximately 6 million people. Please note that somebody apparently forgot to tell the UN that the United States has 310 million people, not 66 million people as their future plans call for housing. Nobody in an official capacity dealt with the numerical discrepancy between the present population of the United States and the planned population of the United States. And so that's what all this stuff is about with Ebola and the vaccines and the GMOs, is they have to kill us off over the next several decades, because in order for this plan to work out, they cannot have hundreds of millions of people in the country. So I want to parallel this with the movie The Hunger Games, which I have talked about in the other videos, but I want to show the actual photographs and the proof that shows you that the Hunger Games movie is the Agenda 21 Megacities plan. This is the way America looks in the movie The Hunger Games. America is split off into 13 districts where everything is tightly regulated and controlled. You're not allowed to eat meat. You're really not allowed to do anything but serve the system. And in this movie, everything is fenced off. The rural lands are all wild lands, just like in the Agenda 21 plans. And in the Hunger Games, there is a police state where it's literal stormtroopers patrol the area and enforce laws with a heavy-handed approach. And so this is some of the pictures that are on the internet of the model cities of how it's going to look. And once again, they make it look nice and shiny and pretty so that you don't see this big dark picture of how it's really going to be. And they do this to sell it. Well, this is how it looks in the Hunger Games, except it's literally a FEMA concentration camp. But in the movie, as I said, everything is fenced off, and then it's all wildlands. No one lives outside of the barbed wire fences. And so this is how it looks. These are actual screen caps from the movies. As I said, all this area here, nobody lives out here. You're not allowed to go through here, and it's all fenced off. And of course, in the movie, we see the main character climb through the fence and go out and hunt and get actual meat and then bring it back and then sells it on a black market. So if you want to know the future of this country and of the world, go watch The Hunger Games. Go watch the first 2 movies. The third one is about to come out, and this is the most accurate depiction I have seen of Agenda 21, and whoever wrote these stories and made these movies really knows what's going on, and either they're in on it and they know what's going on because of that, or they have studied it so deeply that they were able to put it into real life and show us what the plans are. Go watch this movie. I really, really urge you to do it. It's very important. You will learn so much from watching these movies. They try to play it off like it's a kid's movie, but it's not a kid's movie. This is very much a movie for the critical thinker, and it shows you what the future is going to look like. And the last thing I want to say before I go on to the newspaper clips is I'm going to show one last movie clip at the end of this video, and it's the same group that made the first video clip in the beginning, and it's their vision of what the world's going to look like if people like me have their way. And of course, it's this dark, gloomy, dreary, depressing world. So stay tuned for that. But now I'm going to show these newspaper clips. So this is from the business section of the LA Times. This is from Friday, November 7, 2014, and the article is titled, "Hitting LA Housing Goal Won't Be Easy." And then this is the second part of it, is housing goal attainable? With Los Angeles facing one of the nation's worst housing crunches, Mayor Eric Garcetti urged the city to pick up the pace on home building and add 100,000 new homes by 2021. So, I don't understand what's going on here. I live out here, and this is one of the most spread out areas in the entire country. There's plenty of housing to go around. There's tons of foreclosed housing. So I don't know why we need more housing unless they want to house illegal immigrants that are coming up in droves. But how? Hitting the goal Garcetti laid out in a speech last week would mean adding more homes in Los Angeles in each of the next 7 years than the city has added in all but one of the last 25. That will require a grab bag of solutions, including creating dense hubs around transit stations, opening up backyards to extra homes, and clearing the city's sclerotic permitting process, developers, urban planners, and housing advocates say. So they said 3 things here. They want to build dense hubs. So look at the language they use here. Dense hubs. They want us stacked one on top of the other. They want us packed into small, concentrated areas. And they want it around transit stations because they don't want us driving cars anymore. They want us to only take public transportation in the future. And the last thing is they want to basically eliminate or fast track the permitting process. And what have I always said? This whole country is full of bureaucracy. Yet they want to fast track the permitting process? Well, that doesn't make any sense. These people are all about permits and fees and asking for permission. But when it's one of their big endgame goals, they have no problem fast-tracking the permitting process. So, as I said on the previous page, they want to streamline the building permit system, as it says right here. And they want to set a goal that 30% of units built on Metro-owned land will be affordable. And if you go back to the other videos that I made on this, you'll see what affordable means, because it's like $2,000 a month. Building transit-oriented housing is a good start, developers say. So is developing in large, dense chunks where there's opportunity. So once again, that dense word is here because they want to have densely populated cities. Be it downtown, where more than 21,000 apartments and condos are being built or proposed, or at Warner Center, where plans call for nearly 4,000 condos and apartments. We need to embrace density in whichever way we can. So if this doesn't tell you what they're doing, then I don't know what better way to explain it to you, because this is the Megacities plan, and it's under construction right now as we speak, And once again, if you haven't watched the other two videos, go watch those because there's so much evidence in those videos that's not going to be shown here. But in a built-out city where so much of the housing is more suburban in style, there's opportunity in backyards too. Dana Cuff, director of City Lab at UCLA's School of the Arts and Architecture, has spent years studying so-called backyard homes or granny flats that can house a renter, an in-law, or a still-at-home 20-something. They exist all over town, often illegally, and regulations make them hard to build in many neighborhoods. Permitting more could go a long way toward helping LA's housing shortage, Cuff said. So is this the kind of world you want to live in, where in your backyard they start building apartment houses to house more people? Because there's all this open land throughout the country, but they say we're overpopulated. There's 500,000 single-family houses in the city of Los Angeles, she said. If 10% of those added a granny flat, we'd be halfway to Garcetti's goal. And it's free land. So that's how the government looks at your property. They see it as free land. In addition, Los Angeles has many vacant lots and other underused sites that could hold more housing, such as Echo Park Hilltop, where development firm Local Construct is putting 18 townhouses on a 1-acre lot that previously held a handful of bungalows. The project is zoned under the city's small lot subdivision ordinance, which enables denser townhouse-style buildings on small chunks of ground. So this is the motif of this entire article, dense living. The program has become more popular in recent years as developers aim to squeeze more units onto infill sites, but it has also drawn more growing criticism from neighbors who say these projects are often too dense for their surroundings. So at least the neighbors are complaining about it. And as I keep saying in my videos, we're supposed to progress into the future, have better standard of living. We should be living in more places, not living in less places, which is what they're saying here. So it's called the Echo Park Project, and it says prices haven't yet been set, but Lynch said they'll be in line with the neighborhood where sale prices average $588 a square foot in the third quarter, according to CoreLogic DataQuick. That would be a 1,400 square foot model at about $823,000. So that's what affordable housing looks like under Eric Garcetti's LA Megacities plan. More modestly priced projects are even harder to pull off. Affordable housing advocates say they face comparable costs of land, construction, and permitting without the market payoff, yet public subsidies to close that gap have dropped sharply as federal programs are cut back and state bond funds dried up. In his speech last week, Garcetti said he would work with leaders in Sacramento to restore state housing funding, pointing to money set aside in California's new cap-and-trade program, which auctions permits for greenhouse gas emissions, and a $600 million bond is issued for veterans housing. So the cap-and-trade program plays right into this, and if you don't know what that is, California has passed the nation's only cap-and-trade program, and what they do is they set a scorecard for companies they say are polluters, and they force them to pay a tax based on how much they pollute, and that money is then redistributed to people throughout the area. And I myself and many others that live in this area have received 2 carbon tax credits twice this year on our energy, and I made a video about that a while back, and I'll link that in the description as well. But everything is multifaceted. The cap-and-trade program is designed to put people out of business and to establish the megacities. And this is the end of the article here. Greenlee said that any fix to LA's affordable housing crunch will require a wide range of solutions, from preserving existing low-cost and rent-stabilized housing to adding more Section 8 vouchers for low-income renters. So this goes in line with what I've been saying for a long time. They're going to destroy the economy, they're going to destroy jobs, and they're going to have it where we're stacked one on top of the other in backyards, in big giant skyscrapers, in coffin-sized apartments, living in poverty. But they say the goal is to lower the cost of housing. At what point do we start to get relief from how much it costs to live in LA? 100,000 units? Is that enough? So they plan to build and build and build, And they claim that by building too many houses, that will have too much supply and that will bring down the price of housing in Los Angeles. So that's it for now. And I'm going to show this last clip here that shows their vision of the future if I have my way. And look how dark and dreary it is.
2050. Gloomy prospects. Nationalism dominates, and globalization is a thing of the past. Everywhere, borders are reimposed. Trade is restricted to regional blocks. Mutual mistrust leads to high customs barriers. Stagnation is the norm. International exchange has come to a standstill. Conflicts over natural resources are a daily occurrence. Will the future take us back to the past? Or are there different worlds?